Thank you both for your responses. We'll now move into closing statements, and because Professor Burns went first, he will go last in closing statements. So I'll start with Professor Lewis.
Well, I'd like to reiterate that, go back to the Declaration of Independence. But I would like to note that the Declaration, as a political document, states certain very profound moral truths. Now, we have to remember that the framers were not moral philosophers. They were not writing treatises of philosophy per se. They were establishing a nation and a new government. It is therefore extraordinary that they said you have the right to, they wrote, you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And to secure those rights, governments are initiated among men. They put an entirely different purpose for the government. The government was no longer established because of the divine right of kings, no longer established because of an inherited aristocracy, no longer established because that's the way things have always been done. Read the first Federalist paper, and the question is raised, can a people establish a government through deliberation, or are we bound to accident and force? And the founders said, no, deliberation could do it, and that deliberation would have to be based on certain moral truths. The moral truth is your autonomous right to live your own life as an individual. Your autonomous right to do that. Autonomous does not mean free of government force, because we're all under government force. Properly speaking, if we initiate force against others, the government should and must retaliate against us. The only alternative to that is for us to form the kind of gangs that we see in civil wars, right? And we would break ourselves up into warring factions, and we would be at each other's throats until a tyrant rose. So the morality of government intervention in the free market is the morality of the individual to live his life as an individual, or her life as an individual. That government intervention is the initiation of force against the individual, not the retaliatory use, which is proper, which sets the context, and the free market means a forum for the voluntary interactions with others. These views, I will reiterate to you to sum up, relate back to deeper philosophical principles. If you have the moral right to your own life, and I maintain you do, that means someone else doesn't have the moral right to take it from you. The right to life doesn't mean the right to everything that you need to stay alive, or the right not to die. We're all going to die. It means the right to live your life as you see fit, as long as you don't violate the rights of others. This connects very deeply to the basis of life as action, to the nature of human life for individuals. Epistemologically, in a theory of knowledge, it connects fully with your capacity to understand and know your life. And it blasts away the idea that we're all too stupid to figure this out, and there has to be a clique in Washington to tell us what it means. It also goes more deeply metaphysically and blasts away the idea that we're all sitting in a deterministic universe where nothing we do really matters. You can make meaningful choices for your life. Is that it? 30 seconds. You can make meaningful choices for your life. The fact that you're here depends upon that. The fact that you're at the university depends upon that. And the fact that you came tonight depends upon that. Those who uphold government intervention, in my experience, always go to the opposite of all of those principles. They presume that you have no right to your life, but it is owed to the collective. That on a political basis, therefore, it unleashes government force against you. Morally, you have no right to your life because you're part of the greater whole, they claim. Epistemologically, you can't make any understanding for yourself. You have to bow to the decisions of others. And metaphysically, we're all determined. I reject all of that all the way through.
I don't think we're going to settle anything tonight, and I think that if we carried on for hours, days, perhaps weeks, we wouldn't settle much. But I'm sort of struck by certain kinds of things. One of the things that the question that has still gone begging is, what is the foundation of these rights to property? One of the things that is problematic for me is this idea that somehow the forefathers did all of this stuff in the Declaration of Independence, but somehow or another we seem to have forgotten to even mention the possibility of the Constitution, where people were defined as 3/5 of a human being, and we had slavery and similar sorts of things. We don't want to use government force to take property away. Then what the hell was the Civil War all about? That was a taking of property, if nothing else was. Government resolves property disputes. When people have disputes about property, the government is going to come in and define those property rights for us. Okay, absent that, as was the suggestion previously, we are going to live in a state of anarchy, and it's just going to be whoever has the most muscle. Frankly, I'd rather have the government provide the muscle. There is one other thing. If it is immoral to take someone's life, then what in the world are we doing by going out to defend ourselves against terrorists and killing thousands and tens of thousands of innocent people. That is a